All right. So, welcome to our team training, weekly team training. We have a special guest tonight, Rachel Jones, Ambassador Diamond. She is amazing, and my team actually looks up to you so much. I know that they're always sharing things that you've said, and yeah, it's just amazing. So, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for jumping on here with us. But yeah, let's get started. I want to hand it over to you and just kind of tell us your story a little bit. And for those of you who didn't know, we're basically going to talk about how she just kept going after maybe losing a rank and after some team quitting and stuff, so that sort of thing. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. But I want to hear your story. I want everyone to hear your story, who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird that it's 7. Like, I can't understand the world, like, and how it works. It's freaking 9 here, and I go to bed at 10. So it's so weird that, like, it's early. Weird. Okay. Hi, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. My name's Rachel. I've been with this business for 5 years now. And I'm so, oh my gosh, we'll get to all of it. We'll get to all of it. But the amount of life that's happened and the amount of business, oh my gosh, it's emotional because I'm not even close to the person I was 5 years ago. And I still have so much work to be done. But 5 years ago, I mean, guys, I did things completely out of order. I fell in love with my first boyfriend, and it was my husband at 17. And then 3 years later, we got pregnant. I did things completely just backwards. And because of that irresponsibility, life was flipping hard. Like, just a young mom in general is freaking hard. And then being on government assistance. And I had a weird situation to where my parents, I mean, it was a grateful situation, but my parents were paying for my college, which was great until I got pregnant. And I'm like, wait, I don't want to finish. Like, I want to be a mom now and like get my stuff together. But they're like, you're halfway through. You're not going to waste this. So I got pregnant in college, had my kid in college. And when I graduated college, he was 1. I did all the things because I was forced to. But, fresh out of high school when I was 19, someone asked me to join a company, and it was super just chill. It was so like, it was just like my mindset was just like a quick fix kind of money thing. And how that company worked, it's a very popular company. It was Avon. I don't know. Do I have to say it? Do I need to not say it? I don't know. It was Avon if you need to wrap your head around it. But how it worked, I don't know. I'm like, why am I like tiptoeing around? It was Avon. How it worked was it was like booklets. You got pamphlets, and then you pass them out, and then you place one big order, you get all the products coming to you, and then you deliver it. And it was just like, I'm 19, I'm like getting drunk and I'm doing all the things, and I just sucked at it. And so like 2 months later I quit. But because of that, the reason why I say that as a part of my story is I didn't look for It Works. It Works found me, and someone was just posting on social media. I was interested in the products. Long story short, she approaches me with the business, and I shot her down because I had done this before. I had tried this before. You don't want someone like me. I'm not good at it because I had done it before. And I mean, obviously I was just ignorant and thinking that, of course, the companies, like, God forbid the companies would be different, right? I just figured I was the product problem. So I jumped in. I had just turned 22 the same week I joined. So I'm just a baby, raising a baby, still in college. I'm about to start my senior year. And around my college schedule, I was a full-time waitress. So I was really flipping busy, and I don't know how the heck I did it, but I did it. And I went diamond in 3 months, double 2 months later, which was 5 months in. And when I went double, my husband went diamond. And that was the first time, that was in 2015. And that was the first time Mark doubled those bonuses. Oh my gosh, I thought we were rich. It was so freaking cool. Because we're 5 months in and we're 22 years old. I'm still in college, my spring semester, and we're making like $7,000 a month. And before we even knew what we were going to make from those promotions, we quit our jobs the next day. And everyone thought we were crazy. Everyone thought we were buck wild. We weren't confident in our decision, but we were confident with the company and what we were doing. So we made that bold decision. I'm not saying that to say do it, because I would tell you not to, because it was very freaky, but we did it. We were set up for triple that next month. It crashed. It's okay. We'll get into that. And then I went triple a month later. A year later. I took that whole year rebuilding. I went triple. Bonuses were doubled again. So I got $50,000. Got pregnant with Elijah after that. Everything sucked. We'll get into all of that. And then a year after triple, I went Prez. And then I just went ambassador this year. So that's my story. I just moved to Tennessee. I lived in Illinois my whole life. Just moved to Tennessee in April. We love it here. I feel like I've started over. I feel like I went ambassador. I moved out of the country, even though it wasn't out of the country. And I just feel like it's like a new me. I'm so excited. But that's where I am now. I went through a lot in the business to get to where I'm at. And I know we're going to talk about that, but that's just synopsis of my story.
And I don't think you mentioned it, but you're a mom of 2.
I'm a mom of 2.
So you just moved to Tennessee. That's crazy. My doorbell just rang. Amazon has been at my house literally all day, so sorry about that. That was really loud. Okay, well, that's awesome. I love your story so much, and it's crazy. I was 22 when I started this too, and I was a new mom. I was in college too, and I asked myself the same thing. I was so busy. How did I do it? But the how doesn't even matter. It's just why. And I know you have a big, big why, and we're gonna get into that. Okay, so first question we have for you. How did you get over the feeling of being a failure after losing a rank?
Okay, that's hard. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, that's really hard. Because it's something so, like, I don't even want to say it's mentally, because I feel like it's just so flippin' deeper. It's so much deeper than that. And I think it's different based on who you are. And I know, Stacey, we're a lot alike in this, but I'm just a freaking baby. Like, I'm emotional. The world's out to get me. I am so, like, I don't know. I think I have like a sad soul. I don't know, but I'm also a really happy person. I'm just freaking weird, but I could cry right now. My eyes are getting a little bit watery. But it's so the point in all of that is we're all so different and we handle things different. And so I think that my issue was, I think a lot of us will connect on this, I am obsessed with It Works. I'm very obsessed with It Works. And when I went triple, guys, I was so much more, like, I'm obsessed with It Works right now, but when I went triple, I was like disgusting obsessed. Like, I was so obsessed, like, it was above God, it was above my kids, it was above my husband. Like, I loved it more than all of those things. And I'm just gonna be honest in saying that. And my marriage was on rocks. Everything was falling apart when I went triple, because It Works was my end all be all, everything. And I knew I wasn't supposed to go triple. I knew it in my heart, because I was boxed for it, but I wasn't set up for it in the way I needed to be. And that third leg was so completely like faked out. Like the leader of that diamond was like, I'm not doing this. Like, she was so inactive, like so far from being an active person in this business. And I built her, I did all the things wrong, and I spent money doing it. And it was one of the worst decisions I could have ever made in this business, because again, I put everything before my family, and I almost seriously lost my family because of it. Like, it was so ew. Like, thinking of triple, you guys, it makes me want to barf. My triple diamond promotion, ew. It was so horrible. It ruined everything, but only because I was so disgustingly obsessed with like doing all the wrong things when it wasn't. Like, I was trying to make it right and all these things. And so I went triple, and every month since then, it's like, oh, I was doing all the things to keep that rank. And I remember having a talk with Zach, and he was like, why are we boosting to maintain every month? Like, why are you so obsessed with a triple diamond? And I was just like, I mean, it's my title. Like, I want to be a VIP. Like, everyone knows. Like, what do you mean? Why am I obsessed? And then I'm like, I know, because I'm like, why aren't you obsessed? Like, why am I the problem? And so I was so disgustingly obsessed with triple, and we were making such good money. And then I got pregnant with Elijah, and I was puking every single day up until my 3rd trimester, and everything was horrible. I was depressed. My marriage was struggling, not only because of It Works, because life freaking hit us. We were on the rocks. I was puking. I didn't like my son, and that was growing in my belly. Like, all the things were wrong. And I was so caught up in like the freaking rank, the named triple diamond. And it's like, what even goes into that? Like, yeah, special recognition, but not looking back now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I could cry thinking about how many people like I bulldozed, and how like I was so like one track minded on just the stupid freaking title of triple diamond. And so in August, which was 4 months later after I went triple or whatever, Zach sat me down and he was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, you got to wrap your head around the fact that you're losing the rank, because it doesn't feel right what we're doing to maintain. And at that point was when everything kind of like went really, really downhill, because I felt like, because I lost rank for the first time ever, and it was triple to double, I felt like I had a stamp on my effing forehead, like, loser. And I remember he was like, no one knows except for Tiffany Hurt, because she's above you. He was like, no one knows, but you feel it in your soul, and you feel your identity's wrapped up. And I'm like, I busted my freaking butt to go. I worked so hard to go triple, and now I don't have it. And so you feel like a freaking failure. This is all part of your question, this freaking loaded answer.
No, I love it so much.
Yeah, and you feel like such a failure, and that's how I felt. So I feel like I had to give you that back story to tell you guys, like, I freaking get it. I get it, because I'm a baby. But honestly, guys, and I think other questions will get me to leading into like the rest of the journey, into the comeback and stuff, but Honestly, I don't think you can avoid it, because I think we all feel it at different times, and we feel it all to a different extent. And some of you guys are on here and you're like, I feel you. I feel it in my soul. And the other people are like, I don't give a shiz what my title is. And I'm whatever. We'll just meet in the middle. It's okay. I'm just yellow. But I think the biggest thing is like just getting out of your own head. And some of the things I say tonight might be like, this is common sense, but you guys, this past week has been freaking weird. It's like I'm being told all of these things that I've heard 1,000 times, but it's like from the right person on the right platform on the right day. I'm like aha after aha after aha. I just got off of a Zoom at 7, my 7, and I was telling them something, and I was like, I'm gonna give you guys like, because she asked me a question, and I was like, I'm going to tell you guys something that changed my freaking mindset this week, and you've heard it so many times, but let me explain it this way. And it was just so weird. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make is you have to know, I mean, It Works is still my everything, and it's blessed our business, and we have finally figured out the perfect balance for our family. That's not a balance, but it's a balance for us. And now I know that even though it's everything, it's not my freaking identity. And I'm not maintaining Ambassador right now, and I'll be honest, but our team is still freaking awesome. Like, I'm still growing. I'm still great. Like, things are still great. Like, we still have great enrollments. We still have great volume. Like, I don't know. It's just, unfortunately, volume isn't on our side. And I feel like I would be so mentally unstable right now with my paid ass rank being Prez instead of Ambassador if I hadn't gone through that crap with like losing triple and all the stuff that followed after. And so now that I have, it's like, you guys, that means nothing. You not maintaining your rank means nothing. Yeah, it does mean a lower paycheck. It does mean all of those things that are like literal. But as long as you don't let it consume you and let it like freaking keep you down, and you keep pushing forward, you can, like, even though physically I'm not making as much as I was when I was paid Ambassador, I'm like learning stuff, and I'm like, new people are coming into our business, and like new friendships, new things, like beautiful things that are even just as beautiful as my $35,000 paycheck as an ambassador. So why would I waste the past 3 months being upset that I'm paid as a Prez instead of an ambassador when I'm doing more now than I did when I was maintaining that ambassador rank? So I hope that answers your question, but it's like, I know it seems like it's easier said than done, but you guys, I know what you feel if you're feeling that right now, and you are your own worst enemy, and you can stop that if you make the decision to. You have to be intentional though.
Absolutely. I think people do get so caught up in the rank, as we all do, but being in it for several years now, you go through all of the different seasons, and you kind of learn that it's not the rank, it's not the status, it's the paycheck, because that's what you're here to do. You're here to make money. And as long as you're doing that, who cares what your rank is? It does not matter. I love that so much, because you had to go through it to realize it's just a rank. So take us through that. And this goes into our second question. What kept you from not throwing in the towel completely? So you lost rank, and then you kind of just like went super downhill. Kind of walk us through that, and like what brought you back.
Yeah. Okay. This is good. So we're in August of 2016, and I'm like 7 months pregnant, and I'm like, I lost my rank. And so because I was so caught up in everything, all of the wrong things, I'm serious, you guys, like my marriage was suffering because of external things, but then internal things with the business, all the things, to where it was on the rocks. I lost my rank. And then when I lost my rank, I'm like, of course, it's not my fault. It's everybody else's fault. Like, why can't my team work a little bit harder? Why does my husband suck? Like, why can't Mark just give us a little bit of a boost? like, help me out, Mark, please. Like, everybody else is the issue except for myself. And I'm just so over like everything. And I'm so in such like a nasty headspace that I'm like 7 months freaking pregnant, and I'm not even happy. Like, I'm not even like connecting with my unborn son. And I'm like, I'm blaming everybody else. And then like, unfortunately, as like shitty as this sounds, like, I'm like, why did I even have to get pregnant? Because he freaking really sucked up a lot of that energy as well. And so I'm just like, everything just feels like shiz. Everything feels so freaking disgusting. And then we go through September, and my check gets lower. And then it's October, and all the things are still happening. And then November comes, and it's birthing month. And I'm like so fat and so large, like 270 pounds. And I'm like, get him out of me. Every day I'm going to count down. Like, I wasn't doing It Works. It was time to have my son. He's going to be 3 in like 3 days. And so I had him on November 19th, and I was so caught up in having him and so anti It Works that I freaking lost a double diamond that month. And it was like, I know it seems like, how could you not know you're going to lose it? But I was so freaking always so great at being double. Like I always had more than I needed for double, that I was like, holy freak. Like I've actually lost it all. I've actually lost it all. And for some of you guys, you're like, that's just crazy because you're still making money. But when you're making like $13,000 to $16,000, you start living a little bit out of your means. No one teaches you this. This is still like a year and a half in my business. No one taught me what to do with money. Nobody, you know, you go from 0 to 100 real quick, and now like you have nothing to show for it. So we go from like making good teens, and now our check is $2,500, and our bills are more than that. And so my husband in October, before I had my son, he started talking about going back to work, and it felt really gross and it really hurt because I'm like, I was so hurt and so upset with myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just like, I freaking let my family down. And then I was like, I didn't freaking sign up for this. Like I had my other son was like, whatever the math is, like 3, maybe 3. And then I'm going to have this other son that's a newborn, and like I had signed up for, we got pregnant because we're gonna do it all together, and now you're leaving, and now I'm gonna have to be like a single mom. Like that sounds so freaking dramatic, but I'm a dramatic person. And so I stopped fighting him over it because I'm like, oh, again, we're still on rocks. It's still not working out. And so he goes and gets a job. He's gonna start in January, and all of December I'm just like, pity me, life sucks. Like what the heck? We put all of our Christmas presents that month at the end of 2016 on credit cards. We did all the things wrong because in our heads we're still like, we're trying to show we're triple diamonds even though we're diamonds, and it felt so sick. Like it felt so wrong, but we were still putting that front on. And so I remember an argument we had in December, and we were talking about how life was going to be when he went back to work. And I was so salty because my son, my redheaded son, oh my gosh, he's wild, and he was horrible. The first 8 months he was horrible, you guys. Like the pregnancy was horrible, everything was horrible. He had issues, he hated me, I couldn't get him to stop crying, he had acid reflux, he was so hard. And so that messes with you guys. Like who has had a freaking kid in this business and they suck a little bit? They're hard. That was me. And so all of December we're like arguing, we're doing these things. And I remember one argument when we were fighting, and I was like, why do you get to go back to work? Like, why is it not a discussion of like, who goes back to work? Like, why am I, like, what if I wanted to go back to work? And I'm like expecting him to fight for me. Like, no, you got to do it where it's like, duh, that's your job. And I remember he was like, maybe you should too. And I was just like, he's like, he's done. Like he's legitimately given up on It Works. And we're back to freaking square one. And so you guys, I prayed so much that month, December of freaking 2016, I prayed and prayed. Like when you're so obsessed with something and your identity's wrapped up in it, like mine was with It Works, it messes with you when you're sucking at the business because you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I stay? Do I go? Like, what do you want from me? When you're good at something for so long and then you're bad at it, you're like, I don't even know how I could. Maybe I'm supposed to be a one-hit wonder. Like, I don't know. And that was the worst part, is not knowing. And I would pray and I would pray. And I'm just like trying to do some soul searching. And I was just waiting for that like shining moment of like, something would be so clear. And if it meant I had to leave the company, then whatever. But it had to be just clear. Like, please just tell me. And I never had that freaking moment. Never had that moment. So instead, I'm just like, okay, maybe this is like God speaking louder as he's quiet, that like I need to just freaking get my head out of my butt. He didn't tell me to leave. And so I assumed that meant he meant to stay. And then I just had to start all over again. And so I don't know. I tried to rally up the troops. My strong leg's always been set. I'm like, who do I have outside of that? Like freaking not very many. I reached out. I was honest about the struggles in my marriage. I was honest about the struggles that I had in the business. I was sorry. Because the fact of the matter is, like, while I sucked, I was so selfish and thinking about how much I lost. I lost a lot of people with that because I was gone, right? I mean, I was there, but I was gone. And so I just put it all out on the table. And we went into 2017 with a little amount of people, and I started over. So my husband was back to work, and you guys, I spent so much time while he was back to work in January, like having a pity party of like, life is hard. No one understands. Like I have 2 kids and my youngest hates me and everything's freaking hard. Like I can't build the business from home. And then something clicked where I'm like, I can't change this. I didn't think he would ever come home. He came home 2 months after that, but I didn't think he would ever come home. We had talked, and he was like, I will never And he was like, if you ever made 5 figures again, but like I could tell he didn't believe that. He was like, I'll never come home again. So I'm trying to think like, this is my reality now. I have 2 kids at home and I'm trying to rebuild the business from the ground up. This is my reality. So why the hell am I still crying about it and acting like my life is so hard? Like that is like holding me back. And I remember sitting there and I was holding Eli in my arms, and Carter had said something about like, he was 3 and all he knew was daddy being home because he was so little when Zach was, yeah. So he was asking and he said something like, when's daddy coming home? Or like, why does he have to go to work? Something like that. And it like clicked. And I'm like, oh my freaking goodness. If I don't get my like crap together, I have to actually go back to work. And it like hit me like what going back to work would be like, because I've never had a real job. I worked at McDonald's before this. Oh, okay. And so he asked me that and I sat there and I'm like, who's going to answer? I don't know. It makes me cry every time. Like, who's going to answer him? Like, if I go back to work, who's going to answer him? Like, on why mommy isn't here? Oh my gosh. And it freaking shook me to the core. And I think we all will or have had that moment where you're like that one thing and you're like, I'm never going to give up again. And I freaking changed it. I changed everything around and I was visualizing it. Like, I'm like crying and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I did go back to work, who's going to answer to my son? What's that freaking stupid Facebook post going to be? Because I have to put it out there because now we're like not doing It Works anymore. So everyone needs to know, what are my parents going to say? What's it going to feel like? All of these things. And it felt so freaking real that I didn't like it. And so I just started over, and unfortunately, I don't have any secrets for January because I just did what I did in the beginning. Stay up a little bit later, watch those YouTube videos, take notes on it and then take it back to your team. Because some of us have lost rank or we've been in a slump for a minute and we're like, I don't even know how I even lead a team again because I'm not even leading myself, and you don't know how to be a leader. I get it. It feels really gross. I understand. But you can, if you do those things all over again, you would be surprised at how fast you start feeling like a leader, and you're like, okay, I got some pep in my step again. I'm doing it. When I'd sign a customer, I would just show them like all the things we used to do. It just happened very slowly. I remember too, in the beginning of 2017, we dove into groups. Nothing crazy or anything. We were diving into groups, making new friends, like just kind of like remaking over our network with expanding our network and stuff. And I remember we were in conference in January of 2017. I think it was at the end. And we got a $300 raise, prelims, something. No, I don't know what it was. It must have been in the beginning of February because it was my January paycheck. We got a $300 raise. And I remember I called Zach. We were on the beach drinking, and I called Zach and I was like, dude, we're doing it, like $300. And I was sobbing because that's how bad we were struggling financially. And then in February was conference, and we regained double diamond. And then in March, we regained triple diamond. And then April happened, and it was April 1st. And it was the last month for, I think, double bonuses. Because I got $50,000. And I remember I was like, okay, I just woke up. I don't know. It was before that because it was on the last day of the month I did the Zoom. But I was just like, this is my last shot to promote. And I was so freaking so far, but I'm like feeling so good, so like high on energy because I'm maintaining. And I remember talking to Zach. He hadn't come home yet. He came home like the second week of April, and I went in April. And I remember talking to him at the beginning of the month, and I was like, even though we were starting to make good money, he was so scarred for life. He was scarred for a very long time that like as fast as we were given it, we were going to lose it again because of what I had done. And so I remember it was the beginning of April, and he was like, if you really are going presidential, you should probably map it out now. And I know this sounds crazy because we do that now, but 2 years ago, we didn't really map things out to a T on the first day of the month, like volume and everything. And I was like, that's freaking rude. Like, you're trying to defeat me. But I did it. And I was like over 10,000 in volume away, like all of these things, like I think like 12 distributors from being boxed, and it wasn't even super strong, whatever. And then I just busted my butt. I just freaking busted my butt, locked arms with those that were there. And we did it. We freaking did it. I think I was boxed like halfway through the month. And then it was such a beautiful promotion. Like it was my easiest promotion until ambassador. And then ambassador was so meant to be that it was such a breeze that it was just weird. I was getting a pedicure the day I went, and it wasn't even the last day of the month. But presidential happened, and it was just so crazy. It was so crazy. And so the point of all of that is like, I don't have secrets in that, but you guys, it's so when you lose your rank, it's so easy for your headspace to just stay negative. And so if I could encourage you guys anything right now, I think it's a perfect time for us to do the Zoom. And I'm so hyped about it because this is, well, I had my son around this time, but let's pretend it's December because it basically is. This is the perfect freaking time to drop the people that don't want it as bad as you guys. You know, some of us right here, right now, we're watching this and we're like thinking of our team and we're like, there's 3 people on my chart. They haven't talked to me in 3 months. They give me bad feelings. Like, you know who you aren't supposed to be working with anymore. You know who you're supposed to leave behind, but you just can't. You can't physically let go of them, right? I encourage you guys. I encourage you to like, I'm not even trying to be like a meditator person here. Like, I'm just trying to like calmly be like, release it. Like, just freaking release it, you guys. Brendan Bouchard, whatever, cutie little nerdy, at the Rise conference, I'm obsessed with him. He was talking about how, like, this is, again, one of those common sense sayings, but you never know when you hear it. He was just talking about how every day is a freaking new day. Like, it's a new decision. It's a new choice. Like, you don't know when your time is up here. We don't know, and I don't know. I'm just feeling like I'm so like reliving all this all over again. But you guys were in the perfect scenario, the perfect timing to drop the people that aren't supposed to be in this business and pray. You know, I encourage you to surrender and be like, God, take the people out of my business that don't do me good. Like, we have to have him, you know, take the people out of our business so that we can make room for those that are supposed to be in it. And the reason why I say it's perfect timing is because we're about to close the year. And every single year this happens, it's December 31st, and then January 1st comes, we all wake up and we're like, I'm new. I'm improved. Like, it's just something, I mean, it's a new freaking year. I feel like it's just freaking magic. And so why not get a head start now and do this? And you guys have had some conversations with people on my team, and I'm like, and I personally have lost some people recently. And it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've lost some significant people. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, why am I so peaceful about this? Because it's not like I'm excited for people to leave, but I'm like, I'm past the point of where I'm dragging people behind a freaking moving bus. Like, it doesn't do me anything. It doesn't do me anything to keep people on my chart that don't want this anymore. So wherever you're at in your business right now, maybe you right now are a lifetime diamond and you're maintaining ruby. And you're like, I only have 2 freaking people that answer me every day, and I don't even need to reach out to my whole team to see who's working. Like, I know I have 2 people, and that's it. You guys have to understand that there's a blessing in wherever you're at right now. Okay, so let's talk about all scenarios. Right now, there's someone on here, maybe. Let's say there's someone on here right now watching, and maybe you have a certain rank, whatever it is, your lifetime rank, but right now, you don't have one active person on your team. You got people on your team, but you've been building them, or they're dead, or whatever. Some of us don't have an active team. We don't have one person that we're talking to every day underneath us. There's beauty in that. There's beauty in that. And how I will compare it to is, like, I think about how it is when my kids are in school for 8 hours of the day and I get to be here by myself. I get to be selfish. I get to do whatever the hell I want for myself. So you guys are the same way. Like, you can keep your customers. You get to build yourself. You don't have anyone to answer to. You get to do all things to make yourself better for when that next person enters your business, and now you have one again. And so again, I think so often we're like, well, I did have 10. Doesn't matter what you even had last week. Doesn't matter what you had last month. You know, I think about how, you know, when I just told you guys that I'm not maintaining my highest paid rank, right? So technically, it doesn't matter. It would be so silly for me to be like, hey guys, but in April, I had 300,000 in GV and I maintained on the 25th. Like, none of that matters because I'm not right now. So you being boxed for triple diamond before, you signing 10 distributors last month, even though no one's talking, you know, it doesn't matter. And I don't say that to hurt your feelings. I'm just saying, right here, right now, where are you at? Do you have an active team? You don't have anyone? Worry about yourself. Make yourself better. That's great. You don't have to answer to anyone. And then the scenario of, like, maybe you have 1 or 2 people and you're upset because you did have more than that. And it feels like when you have 1 or 2, it doesn't feel very good because you're like, I only have this many. I sometimes daydream about the times when I just had a couple people, because you don't forget people. You literally only have 2 people. Okay, so they get your attention. It's not hard to be their best friend and for you 3 to be best friends and to do this together. Like, that's great too. And then the people that have the mass team, like the masses, well, we just know that that's a blessing because we have a lot of people, right? Give them your all and don't be so upset over what you don't have. And so I think that if you're on here and you're struggling and you rid yourself of all the things you don't have, and that this is your reality right now, kind of like how I was so upset about my freaking hard baby and how Zach was at work and like, pity me, life is so hard. it wasn't going to change. Zach wasn't coming home. So why am I going to keep on talking about all the things that are going wrong and all the things that are hard? This is my reality. So what am I going to do about it? So what is your chart right now? Who do you have on your team? What are you going to do about it? And have a head start in the freaking 2020. And so again, I did this at the end of the year in 2016, and now you're so ahead that you'll be killing it. So that's kind of just what I wanted to say about that, is just that it's hard. It's hard. And you guys, here's what I'll say too, is if you're not in the slump anymore and you're not in the valley and you've overcome, be open and honest with your team, you guys. That's the best thing I think I would like to say that my team would agree. I'm always so open about that. I'm always so open about the things. And I just said this on the other Zoom because I was teaching people on how to be emerging leaders, right? And so here's what I'll say is, like, I don't often, maybe once or twice, but I don't really ever talk about the struggles when I'm in them. So, you know, I'm trying to give examples here. I gave like some deep examples, and it was a little bit inappropriate last time, but you know, like for example, like, I'm just going to say, like, if I was getting a divorce, or if I was having a miscarriage, I wouldn't talk about it while I was going through it. But then when I came out of it, I would talk about it. And so that's the same thing with a business. Like, I don't ever talk about it when I'm in it because I don't have a solution for it yet. Does that make sense? So every single time I've gone through something hard, whether it's my personal life or it's my business, I don't talk about it when I'm down, because it's so easy for me to be like, well, life sucks right now, so let's just talk shit about it. Like, I'm just so good at having a pity party for myself. I'm just whatever. So whenever I come out of that, I'm always making sure I talk about it, because I'm just like, this is what I learned. This is the crappy stuff. Because if you haven't told your team about it, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make them look at you any different. It makes them see that when life happens, whatever it happens, whether it's life or the business, they don't have to quit, because they're not alone. If you don't ever tell them, and you don't ever if you act like nothing's ever gone wrong. And I was on this with the presidential, and she was getting emotional because she was like, I've never talked about it. She was like, I've never talked about anything. I've always made it seem like it's been perfect because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I'm like, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but when you do that and you're acting perfect the whole time and you're not talking about those struggles, when they go through it, what if they don't even bring it up to you to ask for advice because they think that it would be a burden, or they're embarrassed, or you're so perfect, they don't even want to touch that, and then they just leave. And when we isolate ourselves, we know what happens. So that's something that I've always done as well too. And so I've just always been very open about it. The struggles, like, even like a couple months ago, business wasn't where we wanted it to be. I mean, and I didn't have like a pity party. I wasn't like talking crap about the company, but I was like, let's just be real. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't freaking like my check either, guys, but are we done? Like, are we over it? Like, let's think of a new host post. Let's do this. Like, let's do that. And I just think that that's something that's always respected. And it also helps you stay ahead. You can't do it by yourself. You just freaking can't.
Oh my gosh. You could not have said any of that better than me. I wrote down some notes just to kind of add on to what you said. But when you were saying release, like, there are going to be people, if you haven't experienced it yet, there will be people who quit on you. They just don't see the vision. They don't catch it. You know, they have excuses, and you just got to release them. I love that you said that. And just like Mark said, like, it's reloading. We are reloading.
Yes.
And so this should be your reloading season. Just go out and get those people who do want it as bad as you. And still, some of those are going to quit on you, unfortunately, but you just keep going. And God will not bring you something that you aren't ready for. I love how you were just talking about, you know, if you're not ready for it, like, how can you, when you have it, how are you going to sustain it? How are you going to keep it? So get ready. So if it is just you, maybe one or two other distributors, just grow yourself. Personal development, which I want to ask you what some of your favorite books are, but that is, you're not going to get something in your business, in your life, if you are not ready for it. It's all in God's time. And I think you just got to get ready for it now. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had. But you kind of, our last question I had, and then I do want to ask you about some personal development, but you kind of already went over it a little bit, but break it down for us a little bit more if you can. What leadership actions did you take? So you rally them up, like, hey, I'm sorry, this happened, that you were honest with them. And then I'm sure that not everyone came back on board with you. So how did you go about that?
Yeah. And so I wish I had proof of all this, because I'm like, I feel like it's starting to get like foggy, because I remember like talking about in 2017, and it was like the back of my head, and now back of my hand, like, you know it, like the back of your hand. And now I'm like, what did I do? And so honestly, no, not everybody did come. And how I remember it is I made a video and I made an email and I emailed it to people outside of my Strong Lake. Not necessarily in desperation, but just like, watch this. I'm going to be honest. And I just ask that out of respect, you just tell me if you're in or you're out. And a lot of people were out. And I want to say, from what I remember, there was like 10 people, like outside of my Strong Lake, there was 10 people. And I started a new chat. I started the chat. And you guys, I think what also helped, whether this is like a leadership decision or whatever, it was just a decision, is like, I didn't realize that I was still like on a pedestal. And some of you guys are like, I'm not on a pedestal, but it's not a decision you make. You don't like just like wake up and you're like, I'm gonna put myself on a pedestal. You like get on a high, and before you know it, you're up here and everyone's down here, and you don't even realize like how you even got up on that pedestal. I didn't realize I was still on it in December. And so whatever the case, it was January, and I just was like, I have to like really put myself at their level. And I just remember just talking and being like, you know what, I don't know what the heck I'm doing either. It's been a minute since I've actively worked my business. So let's just figure it out together. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt like we were friends. I didn't feel like I was their leader. I didn't feel like I was their leader at all. I just felt like we were struggling friends trying to freaking figure it out. And then when we started getting that confidence and I started signing people and like all of these crazy things, I felt like I maybe stepped into that leadership role again. But you guys, the crazy thing is like you said, you just said this about like, he's not going to give you something you're not ready for and whatnot. I think so many times too, when we're defeated and we're feeling those feelings, it's so easy to be like greedy, and it's so easy to like put our hands out, but we're like, hey, give me, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think about all the times I'm like, I'm ready for that runner, like give me the runner, like lead those into my path that need this, that want this, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And I know in my heart when I'm ready, like when I was at Rachel Hollis, I'm not messaging for distributors. I'm not ready. I'm not mentally okay to sign distributors right now. I'm building myself up. So like, I know when I'm on it and when I'm not, and when I'm supposed to sign distributors and when I'm not. And there's been so many times, and I know there's at least one person on here that's like, yeah, I'm waiting for God to bless me, but I know I have so much work to do. Like, it doesn't work like that. And it's the same thing with income. And I think about it all the time. I'm like, I wasn't being a good steward of what I was gifted. When I was gifted those big checks, of course he took it away as fast as he gave it to me. He's like, well, respect me. And I wasn't. And I think that's the same thing with that and stuff. And so when you said that, it made me think about it, because it's like, when you're actually ready, you'll know. And you'll know because you'll feel it down in your soul. And in January, when we dove into groups, like there was no secrets or anything. We just started, I was like intentionally looking for like special boy mom groups, like things that like, where is there no It Works distributors? Like, what can I do? And I was like making my presence known. I was just trying to get all these new people to my social media. And I remember in February, there was a girl on one of the groups, and it was one of those stupid posts that's like, what do you do from home? You know, on these groups, you can't make the post, but if someone posts about it, it's all fair game. And this was a freaking girl, and I got it. I was so obsessed with groups and like stalking them like crazy that I was the first one to comment. And she said, what do you do from home? And I gave her my little spiel. I don't know what it was. And she messaged me, and we talked all day long. And then the next day, somebody else makes the same post, and I get like at the bottom of it, and I get my spiel. And I see the girl that I talked to the whole day before, and she's supposed to sign up when she gets the money, all these things. She's on this thread the next day, commenting back to someone saying it was an It Works girl, but she was a sneaky It Works girl. Like, she worded it a lot differently. You didn't know we were in the same company, but I knew we were in the same company. And the girl, like my potential was like, ooh, send me messages. And I messaged her, and I'm like, okay. Like, I thought we were talking. And I remember she was playing me. She was playing all these different things. And I messaged her, and I was like, I'm so confident with being back in the business and back and ready to go, and like so excited and confident that I was like, if she's not supposed to be my business, then don't be my business. But I'm not going to hold back. And I messaged her, and I was like, listen, I don't like, my time is valuable. I got 2 kids. I'm working on building my empire. If you're messing around and you're talking to all these other people, like, I just asked that you maybe like, I nicely said like, don't talk to me anymore. Like, maybe don't waste my time, in a nice way. I am yellow, I swear. And I remember like it kind of shook her, and she was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Come to find out, she was 19. I usually don't mess with 19-year-olds. I need to find me a Cheyenne Knox. Until then, I'm usually scarred for life with young people, but it's okay. And so anyways, the moral of the story is, you guys, we talked that next day. I kind of called her out. She didn't realize that the girl's part of It Works. She said she was loyal to me. She joins my team that day. Don't know how she found the money. And within a month, she was so close to going Emerald, but she had 8,000 in volume within a month. And it's so crazy because I was judging her off of our conversation, and then she said she was 19, and I was like, great. She's like one of those. And then like she joined, and it was almost like she transformed into a different person. And her name was Hannah, and she was so great, and I loved her. And she joined a teeth whitening company and left me. It's okay, but she had 8,000 in volume within a month. And you guys, this was like in February, so it was a part of my maintaining double again, maintaining triple. It was such a significant part in that, and I just found her in a group, and so that was like some like pep in my step excitement thing. But I feel like the reason why I stumbled across her was because I was putting in the work, and my mindset was ready. I wasn't obsessed over what I didn't have. I wasn't like focused on that stuff anymore. I was ready for my next freaking runner. And I feel like God like opened the doors, and it was so clear to me that she was out there. But until you're ready, you won't see it. You're gonna, it's like you have a mask on and you want all these things, and you're like walking, but you're freaking lost because you haven't like exposed it. That was a really bad analogy. But I don't even know what your question was. I think I just veered off, but
it was just like leadership. I mean, it all makes sense. You just rallied them up like, hey, are you in this with me or not? You know, and you just kind of ran with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I did. And they feed off your energy, you guys. And there is no secret. I don't think there's any secrets to leadership besides loving, leading, just being there, being honest. And I think the biggest thing is just like showing up and leading from example. And so you can like say as much as you want, but if your actions aren't lining up with that, and you're not enrolling, and you're not like paving the way, then it's kind of irrelevant. And so that's just what we did. And we were just all on the same level. And then just like blessing after blessing after blessing happened. And again, there were no secrets. I think we just cleared out all the distractions, and we just freaking went all in.
Yeah, and I think the other part too, when you are reloading and you've released everyone else and you're ready to go back, it's hard to not micromanage and kind of get scared they're gonna leave you again or like not work. But you have joy when you're like working the business and you're enrolling and you're making money, and with that, your team sees it. They see your excitement, they see your passion again, and they're ready to run with you. I feel like my leader, it took me a year to actually get going in the business. And it was when Christy, my leader, she finally was like, look, you're not ready. I'm here when you are ready. And she just kind of left me. And I was like, no, don't leave me. Don't leave me. And I kept seeing her promote. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally have to do this. And so that was like the one thing that clicked for me. And that's what they'll do too. If they see you up and running again, they see your commitment, they see your dedication, you're showing up, they're totally going to come with you.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so how do you get your mind right every day?
Okay, so this is hard. This is so hard because, like I said, like, I don't know, we all have things about ourselves that we don't like. And it's so easy for my mind to go into a dark place. I'm just so good at being sad. I don't know what that means, but I'm so good at being sad. It's like I enjoy it. I don't know. Ew, that's so weird. But I'm like deep down a sad soul, but I'm so happy. It's freaking weird. It's just super weird. I'm still trying to figure myself out. But because of that, it's like a flaw. I mean, it is a flaw. It's a freaking flaw. I have to be really intentional. And so something that shook me this past weekend at Rise was, here's the deal, is like, and not that It Works people are annoying, but there was such a difference in hearing every millionaire after millionaire after millionaire. And I think it was because it was like, sometimes this is how I thought of it. Zach hates that I do this. So Zach, my husband, tells me, he's like my mentor. He tells me stuff all the time. You should do this. Let's maybe do this. And sometimes I hear him say stuff and I'm like, yeah, totally. And then I don't do it. And then someone else says it. And I'm like, babe, this is a freaking brilliant. And he's like, you're annoying. Like, why don't you listen to me? And I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't need to hear it from you. That's how it was this weekend. Like, I'm hearing all these things from these speakers that I've heard in the business, but it's like I needed to hear from them. And it was like, I was disappointing my husband, but I was like, yes, I get it. And so all these speakers are on stage, and the one common ground they had, whether they were loud about it or like subtle with it, is they all wake up before the rest of the world. But this is what I think connected with me. And I've been getting up early again because it's made me want to. Whereas sometimes I think we hear it on these Zooms and we're like, I'm tired. I'm not trying to. I'm just freaking tired. But with these speakers, it was like, they weren't like, wake up early. You need to wake up early. They were like, well, I wake up early, and because I do, this is what I'm able to do. I don't know what it freaking was, but I was like, yes. Like, why I'm wasting so much time. So like, anyways, waking up early before the world, and their health. And then again, they weren't being annoying and telling you need to get on a diet, you need to do all these things. They were just like, it's a no-brainer. Like 1 to 2 hours. Like they were all so significantly obsessed with their health. And it's crazy because I think what hit me is that, like, I'm so busy. We're all so busy. We think we're the busiest person in the world. But then we look at them And we're like, oh, I'm not busy compared to them. So if they're busier than me and they're making a crap load more money than me, and it's like a no-brainer, it's like, you think about it. This is what I think about it. This is the comparison I can give you guys, since you guys like weren't sitting there. I think about how, like, when I wake up in the morning and my kids wake up, the first thing I do is I hug them and I kiss them and I love them. And the first automatic question is, how did you sleep? Did you have any dreams? That's just what we do. It's like a no-brainer. It's so natural. For them, that was, and then when they go to bed, same thing. We pray over them. We go to sleep without, we help them go to sleep. Like, we do the parenting things that are a no-brainer. For them, they were so natural with it. They didn't even like preach it. Like, I wouldn't do a Zoom talking about, you should probably hug your babies when they wake up and love them. That's how it was. If that correlation makes sense, it's like they were barely talking about it, but it meant so much to them. It was a part of them. And I just sat there in the stands feeling like a fraud. And I'm not making this like a weight loss thing, because it's deeper than that. But I'm just like, why do I love so much of, like, why do I love other people and I do all these things for other people, but I'm not doing it for myself? And so, mind you, it's only been 4 days since I've been home, so I'm not trying to act like this freaking huge changed person, but it's been a no-brainer for me to take care of myself and to do self-development. And you guys, I think we hear all the times on Zooms to like do self-development, do it. And so I don't want to just say do it because this weekend it did something for me than people just saying do it. But I think when you put yourself above all else, and it's not in a selfish manner, it's in a no-brainer manner. It's like, how do I give my best to everybody else when I'm not even my best? And so I just knew that piece was missing, and I knew it. And you guys, we get caught up in like, I have messages, like, it's the FOMO. I'm a FOMO freak. Like, what am I going to miss out on? And so it's like, well, what am I going to miss out on if I do this? Oh, yeah, I'll do self-development in 3 hours. Oh, shoot, now my kids are home. And before you know it, you're not doing anything for yourself. So to keep my mind right, I know, and this isn't even just a Since Rise thing, I've known that I need to exercise every day, because it's not just exercising, it's quiet time. And I freaking need that, because I'm in my head all the time. And then it's legit self-development. And I don't like listening to stuff, but I've been getting on the treadmill and getting on it for an hour and listening to a sermon, and I'm knocking two peas out with like two peas out, whatever that saying is, two birds out with one stone. And I also love to read, and I really love to read. And so if you guys either like to listen or you like to read, you shouldn't not like either one. I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. Make time for it. That's just all it is. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. So anyways, that was what got me to start taking care of myself, was like, I think about how natural it is for me to love my kids. It's a no-brainer. I don't need to teach other people. That's what it was like for them. It was like, that was their kids. So anyways, it freaking shook me to the core, was just taking care of yourself. You just can't help others if you're not helping yourself.
So what do you prefer? Do you do Audible, or do you like to sit and write?
I am a reader. I hate listening, because when I read, I have to be intentional with it, and I put my phone in airplane mode and I read. But if I listen before I know it, like this happens at church all the time, I'm like, oh shoot, it's been 10 minutes and I've been thinking about my team. I think. So I'm a reader. I enjoy reading a lot.
What's your favorite?
Okay. This is annoying because I'm reading it now, so I'm like one of those. But right now, it's downstairs. Right now, it's one of my favorites in a long time. It's The Success Commandments by, it's like Devin or Devon. I don't know which one it is. Devon Franklin. And it's about like working your business through faith, and like, I don't know, it's freaking really, really, really good. And then I really, I think you have read this one too, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Yeah. Has been something I've never been able to forget.
I'm reading The Anomaly Mindset right now. Have you read that?
No, I have that in my cart.
So good.
It's good?
Yeah, I have an hour left. I like Audible, but I have an hour left, and it's so good. And she talks about working through, working and living life, personal, but also like spiritual. She's really spiritual.
Oh, see, I like that. I need that. This book too, real quick. Hang on. I know I'm wearing a long sleeve, but I'm wearing booty shorts, and no one wants to see my booty.
Yeah, Rachel. No.
Hang on. No one wants to see my butt cheeks. Let's be real here. Okay. I'm just so hot, but I'm cold. Okay. This book, it's so massive, but it's not. Slay Like a Mother. This was such a good self-development. I did this last month, I think. And I read it like very, very fast. And this is the thing, is I thought it was just one of those badass, you're awesome mom kind of books, and it wasn't. I don't even remember what I loved so much about it, but I was like, we went camping, and I was like in the mindset of like, I'm like in Zen mode and I'm going to read it. And I was just crying the whole time. It was like more than just a mom motivation book. It was like we freaking rock. And I don't know, it was so freaking good. So this one was a really good one too. Recently, those are the ones: Success Commandment, Slay Like a Mother, and 5-second rule, or 5 Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Okay. Lastly, tell us just one thing that you want us to hear as we end the new year and we start at the beginning. What is something that's on your heart?
Oh my gosh.
But
I don't know if you feel this. I know, that's really loaded. That's loaded.
I know.
I feel like, okay, this is so weird. And I feel like I'm not, like, I don't know. I feel like it might not be motivation, but this is like how I've been thinking. I've been thinking about this because like, this isn't my first, it's not our first. I think we joined like the same year. You might've joined a year before me, but like we've been around the block. And so we've seen these, and even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm not maintaining ambassador, and I would love to be maintaining ambassador. I feel like I've grown so freaking much this year and learned so much. And I'm like, this year, even though technically you would think if it's the best year ever, you would be like, physically I've made the most money, but right now I'm not making my highest paycheck. So I know it seems like it's almost like contradicting, but I feel something very weird in my soul. Like this is going to be a different holiday season. Like the holiday seasons are a little rough sometimes. And I feel like how they've aligned it. So here's like the thing is like, they always tell us like, everyone always says, and we preach it to our team, like corporate's got our back. Corporate has all things planned out. And I remember being in some hard times, even like a couple months ago. I mean, I wasn't in a hard time, but I was like, my checks kind of suck booty right now and I don't like it. Like, come on, like what's the plan here? Like I need to know. I know they have our back, but like, do they really have the next couple months planned? And I'm in a position right now, and you guys might not be, so just vibe off of me maybe. But it's like, it's all like aligning. It's like aha moment after aha moment that they really have planned all the way, probably even past 2020, but they planned all the way. And so like the Black Friday deals, the Cyber Monday deals, like I know you know stuff, and then Costa Rica being in the beginning of December, and then Margaritaville and all of these things. It's like, all we have to do, guys, I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know what you need to hear. I don't know if you're depressed, if you're loving life, if things are hard right now. But what I tell myself, whether I'm in a high or low in this business, is like, we just have to get to December 31st. Like we just have to get, like that's the finish line for me. And then it starts all over again. And if you guys haven't been in the beginning of the year, it's like an adrenaline rush, but it's like you work hard, but it's like, it's a breeze and everything is high and it's awesome and it's great. You just have to finish this year out. And so I really just want you to drop all the negativity. Some of us need to really figure it out. Maybe you're in like my month of December of 2016 and you're like praying and you're not even sure you're supposed to be here. Well, I think that if you're questioning that, you wouldn't be on the Zoom. And so there might be people that are wondering what you're supposed to be doing, but do you think you'd really be listening to this Zoom right now if you weren't supposed to be a part of this? So maybe this is the weird wake up call that you need, where it's like not an aha moment, but there were no secrets, there were no no-brainers. It's just, you can do it too. If I can do it with my messed up, weird freaking life, you can do it too. And so I feel like we've been given a head start into the January, and they have aligned everything so perfectly, like secret, announcement, product, all these crazy things that keep on coming out to get us into January, and then the rest is history, you guys. So put yourself first and take time to just be better. And I know that sounds so silly, but it's like, I know you guys didn't just get off a rise, but like pretend you did. You don't even have to. It's like, what if we all went to bed tonight? I go to bed by 10 now because yes, 7 more minutes. But I go to bed early. I've been going to bed at 10 and waking up at 6. And it's made a significant difference when I was waking up at 7:45, literally rolling out of bed, getting my boys up and out the door. And then I'm feeling behind. What if we all go to bed a little bit early tonight, wake up tomorrow, and we're like, damn, I just got back from conference, and we have our minds made up, and we're so high off of like the energy of like, this is what's so great, and we just make the decision. That's all it is. It's like, you don't need to have all these experiences necessarily. It's like, you just have to make up your mind that you're going to do it. So imagine if we all just went to bed and woke up and we're like, I'm going to be a freaking bomb ASS wife, and I'm going to be the best patient mom today, and I'm going to freaking put some great energy out, and I'm going to sign some people that really want to be a part of this year. They don't want to wait until the boom, because this is the boom, because I'm deciding it's the boom, you know? So like, it's just it's just a decision. And so that's what's been helping me, and I hope that helps you guys. Again, I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect. I'm a sad person. I have to be intentional with these things. But I know myself and I'm in tune with myself, and I know when something feels off, and I just make sure I dive into whatever is off at that point in time. So you guys know too, you know yourself, you know right here, right now, what you need more of, or what you need to cut out, or what you're lacking. You know, you just need to make that decision to fix it.
And it's all mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I know it's about 5 minutes to your bedtime.
Gotta wash my face and go to bed.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, seriously, my team, I know we all needed this, and you said so many things that I needed to hear. So thank you so much. And let's take a picture really quick, if you don't mind. Everybody, if you want to show your face, I'm going to take a picture.
Sarah takes her hair out.
Take the hair out. All right. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.